And it was really weird because there was light in the house, and you could see
Uh-huh.
light in the house, and it was kind of ethereal because it was still smoldering, there was still but the only reason there was light in the house was because there was no
There's no
roof on it
roof.
and no floors.
Wow.
And you could just see, like, I sat out there and you could just see in, and there was nothing. Nothing left in the house.
You heard that there. That is longtime owner of the Beiger Mansion, Ron Montandon, talking about how awful of a shape it was in after the 1975 fire. More of that later, but first, thank you for listening to another episode of Round the Bend Now and Then. My name is Matt Emery, and I'm a local history nerd. My main mission in this podcast, as well as other Round the Bend material, is to create engaging content that shares how intertwined the South Bend and Mishawaka area's past is to our present. In the podcast, I interview local leaders, business owners, and community members to help tell their stories, because their stories help tell the story of South Bend and Mishawaka. If you've ever driven through downtown Mishawaka, chances are that you've passed 317 Lincolnway East. And if you're like me, you've probably slowed down just a bit to take it in. Even from the outside, it's clear that this place has a story. But once you start to dig into the history of the Beiger Mansion, you realize that it's not just a story, it's the story. Built by one of Mishawaka's most prominent families, this mansion has lived many lives. It was once a grand social hub, later became a home for elderly women for over 40 years, narrowly escaped demolition in the early 1970s, and then suffered a devastating fire in 1975 that nearly erased it from the landscape. And then, in 1989, everything changed. Ron Montandon purchased what was then a nearly 22,000 square foot shell of a mansion, damaged, worn, and uncertain of its future. He moved in and began restoring it piece by piece, with a vision to preserve as much of its original character as possible while bringing it back to life. In 2000, Dennis Slade joined him in that effort, and together they've transformed the mansion into what it is today, a one-of-a-kind bed and breakfast, event space, and living piece of Mishawaka history. I had the chance to sit down with Ron and Dennis inside the mansion itself, around a glass table, beneath an ornate chandelier, surrounded by the very history that we were talking about. It's hard to describe just how powerful that experience was. If you've never been inside, I just can't recommend it enough. Check out their website, linked in the show notes, to learn more. Whether it's a wedding, a shower, or just a unique overnight stay, it's truly a one-of-a-kind place. Pictures of it just don't do it justice. Ron and Dennis, thank you. Thank you for your time, and more importantly, thank you for the care, dedication, and vision you've poured into preserving such an important part of Mishawaka's story. Before we get to the interview, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors and encourage you to support them as well. Thank you to MT Box Computers for sponsoring this episode. I truly appreciate your support. If you're a local business owner, reach out to Matt and his team for your IT needs. They're local, trustworthy, and excellent at what they do. Also, thank you to the Mishawaka Historical Museum for sponsoring this episode. As I've said so many times, you have to check it out. There's so much history right under our noses. I'm especially excited to take part in their Mishawaka History Summer Bucket List, which you'll hear more about later in the episode. And a huge thank you to In Rug Co. Studio and Gift Shop for being an original supporter of this work. Seriously, folks, stop in. You'll find something great for yourself or for someone else. And now, here's my conversation with Ron and Dennis about the Beiger Mansion.
Well, hey, Dennis and Ron, thank you so much for joining us. I'm looking forward to learning all about the Beiger Mansion. I've driven past a million times. I've stopped, gotten out, taken pictures, shared it on social media, but the story behind it and the story since you guys have taken over is just amazing, and I want our listeners to learn all about it.
Well, that's how it all started for Ron, is he drove by here probably 2 million times since he was a young boy.
Since I was 5. Literally,
Wow.
I've been obsessed with this house for 65 years.
That's beautiful. Speaking of when you were 5, are you from the area then?
Grew up in Elkhart.
Okay.
Went to school there. And of course, at that time, all the shopping was in South Bend. It
Yeah.
was Shoppers Fair, Robert Hall,
Okay.
Gilbert's Men's. So
Yeah.
whenever we came shopping, I always knew there was two ways to go. One, we could go down Jefferson, and there was just like beautiful, beautiful home after home after home. But then we came kind of the crappy way where the rail yards are, and it's not very scenic, and it's kind of industrial. But all of a sudden, there was one spectacular house, my mom would always pull over, so I could just stare and gawk at it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. That's where the whole thing started. I literally obsessed from childhood.
That's beautiful. Dennis, where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Okay. What brought you to mighty Mishawaka, Indiana?
Ron.
Nice.
I recruited
I
him.
was invited here for a cocktail party.
Yeah.
And of course, I talked to all of my friends in Chicago who knew nothing about it. All that they could tell me is that, that's near Elkhart where they do mobile homes.
Yeah.
So I thought I was coming to 3 trailers stacked on top of each other.
Far
and
from
they
it.
call it a mansion. So when I got here, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. What was going through your head the first time you saw it?
I'm never leaving.
Oh, really? Just like that?
Just like that.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And he's plopped himself here for 26 years now. And I've been here 37 years working on the house.
That's amazing.
And our meeting was really strictly by chance because I had gotten my liquor license for the mansion,
Okay.
which I really had to brown nose and pay money for because in the state of Indiana, you have to be 200 feet away from a school and a church. And we're 94 feet.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at it. I can literally just...
Yeah, both to both. And so they went in and they actually changed the proximity rule to historic registered buildings for liquor licenses. I got my liquor license. They took it out the next year.
Wow.
And I'm grandfathered in.
Okay. Thank goodness.
Yeah. So, and I was heading, and it was a summer solstice party. I invited 300 of my closest friends to celebrate getting a liquor license, which is very hard to do. I was doing all the work myself on the bar, called my best friend on a Sunday. The party was Wednesday. And I said, I just got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. There's no, I'm still in sawdust. So we went up to the Douglas Dunes, which is, a gay resort, which when I started this business, it wasn't fashionable to be gay.
Okay.
But everybody pretty much knows we are now. So it's like no big deal.
Yeah.
And that's where I met Dennis. He was the only one. It was a slow day at the pool, and I splashed him, finally got him to pay attention to me, and invited him to the party. And
wow, 26 years later.
Yeah, 26 years later. He called me on Monday, and I said, yeah, I knew who it was instantly. And I said, yeah, I have a room for you. Come down Wednesday. And he did. And stayed here till Friday, left, came back the next week and never left.
All on Lincolnway in Mishawaka. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely talk more into the fixing the place up and everything. I do want to hit up a little bit of the history of it. Just who owned it originally and...
we go through this all the time. I'm going to say the Beiger family. Everybody in town says Beiger.
Okay, that's the first I've heard it. Talk to me.
Well, Beiger, it's German.
Okay.
And, it's not like we don't say Meyer.
Yeah.
It's Meyer, so it's Beiger, And we've kind of just went out. And, of course, my phone only recognizes Beiger, so... if I have to call the mansion, I have to say Beiger. Susie and Martin Martin was a Mishawaka industrialist.
Okay.
He and his father, late 1800s, bought 2 existing plants on the river where Buter Park is now. One was sheep shearing and one was vulcanized rubber.
Okay.
And they patented the process for bonding wool fleece to vulcanized rubber and created the first shoeless winter boot. Patented the process. And they also did all wool knit boots for the Army World War I. And employed a couple thousand people at the turn of the century.
Good gosh.
That was
crazy.
Like all of Mishawaka.
Of course, yeah.
And of course, Martin, this was kind of showing off their wealth. They were friends of the Vanderbilts, of course, and they had an architect from in town, took them out to Newport, Rhode Island to tour the Breakers and Marble House. And if you look at both of those Vanderbilt homes, this looks like an in-between carriage house.
Really?
Because we're like at 22,000 square feet. The Breakers is like 70,000 square feet.
That's unbelievable because this place is huge.
Yeah. And of course, they came back. Construction was started. Martin died the first year the house was started, ruptured appendix, which they couldn't do anything about. Susie stopped construction on the house for nearly 2 years.
Wow.
Decided to go ahead and finish it. Gave the go-ahead, left on a world tour.
Wow.
Collecting furnishings for 2 years. And in the meantime, she went on an African safari riding elephants. I mean, she was really a go-getter for a traveling lady by herself. One of my greatest possessions that I have right now, because we've always been trying to collect things back to the house since everything was destroyed in the fires. I've got one of her original steamer wicker trunks.
Okay.
It's huge, and it still has the tags on it from the Imperial Hotel Hong Kong with her name on it.
Wow.
So that's kind of special. But what she did was she shopped all the countries and decorated every room on the first floor from a different country.
For real.
Yeah. So the majority of it was Oriental. People come in and they say, wow, you have a lot of Oriental stuff. Well, there was literally 2 containers just of Oriental furniture that she'd sent back. Yeah. The state dining room was Mediterranean. This was French. Library was African. And the breakfast room was English.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And so she lived here by herself until 1927, died, fell on the steps, broke a hip, contracted pneumonia, complicated with shingles. And, you always go back and say, well, you should have put that elevator in. But we have the original shaft for the elevator.
Oh, so it was in the original plans?
It was in the original plans
originally.
She just never pulled this.
No, the piston and everything is in. The shaft survived the fire. The only problem was during construction, she decided she needed more vault space. So we have 3 stacking vaults going from walk-in vaults from the basement for safe. Well, it's a walk-in vault.
Oh my gosh.
And but the second floor, one out of the master suite, is 22 feet deep because she wanted more vault space. Completely built another vault into the elevator shaft, blocking.
Wow.
And that has 2 safes in it.
Well, it actually has like 4 safes in it because you get through the first door, and it's a big door, and it's a hard combination. The older I get, the harder I have remembering it. Foot in, 2 steel doors that locked. You go into the first chamber. Another steel door that locked going into the second chamber, and then another vault in there.
What do you suppose? I mean, they
printed their own money here.
Okay. I was going to say,
it was before the Uniform Currency Code.
Oh, legitimately did?
Yeah. They
printed script, and then that would be used in the stores in the area.
Really?
Yep.
And there is American currency floating around with Martin's signature on it that was printed in Mishawaka, Indiana.
No joke. I did not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, somebody tried to, one of the relatives had one of the bills and was talking about selling it to me. I think it was a $10 bill. And I don't know, all of a sudden she quit talking to me and she sold it to a coin collector who in turn contacted me, wanted to sell it to me for $3,500. Yeah, I'm like, well, I have a lot to do with $3,500 and not get a $10 bill that has no spending power.
That's crazy. So the Beigers legitimately were high class.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
oh, yeah, definitely. They, it's funny when you read history stories, Susie hosted a bridal wedding rehearsal dinner for one of the Studebakers.
Okay.
And of course, all the important people got to sit inside and on the veranda, and all the second were set up on the lawn and tables and chairs and stuff like that.
It's amazing. And in reading your website has a lot of, great history behind it also on there. She really hosted a ton of parties.
Oh yeah.
Up until 27 when she passed.
She was a socialite.
Hey, this was the spot, huh?
Yeah, it was. And what's funny is the original murals in the library, all gilt gold and everything, depicted the life of Christ because the library was the religious room.
Okay.
Depicted the life of Christ as portrayed in Ben-Hur, who was written by Lew Wallace, who's an Indiana novelist, and friends of the family.
Wow, the circle of all the connections.
Yeah. So, but they had a falling out, and Lew Wallace had some curt words to say about Susie after he left. One time he called her the bejeweled princess of Mishawaka.
The drama.
Yeah, I know, back then.
The highfalutin drama. That's wild. Imagine if social media was around and they'd be putting little posts out talking smack.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
And then, of course, Susie died. She left the house in trust to take care of elderly women.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask about next. Talk to us about that.
She, it was expensive. It cost them $1,500 to get into the house.
Okay.
Bequeathed 50% of their estate upon death, and the house literally took care of them until they died. Everything was included. Medicines, food, everything.
So legitimately, like, did you have to be sick, like a hospice situation,
no,
or
it was
more
just
just up in age?
up in age.
Up in age.
Like
and,
like a
Usually it would have
Like a
been
nursing
somebody.
home.
Usually
kinda
it would
like a
have been,
nursing
you know, a wife whose husband's died and she's by herself or
Right.
doesn't have the
they called it
necessary care.
They called it the old ladies' home.
just the old ladies' home.
Yeah, the old ladies' home.
Okay.
And of course, we've had over 100 women die in the house, so we're very spirited.
To you women out there, I come in peace.
They love it.
I come to share the story of this house. I come in peace.
And it's so funny because I always get ghost hunters contacting me.
Wow.
Like all the
really?
time, wanting to come in and do, their whatever and set up their.
Their little
and
seance,
And I always say, well, I asked the spirits and they said no. So, no.
It's not up to you.
Yeah, it's not up
It's
to
not
me.
up to
It's
Ron.
not
It's
us.
up to the
It's really
spirits.
We don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers,
Wow. So legitimately, this was a nursing home. I mean, for the most part,
Yeah,
and it was
for 40 years.
Staff for 40 years. It was until the 60s, right? That's
67.
Wow.
And
That's
then,
a
of course,
long
the
time.
Dodge family died,
Mhm.
and the house directly behind us, they left money for, and it is literally built on top of our tennis courts.
Oh,
And
really?
we have a tunnel that still goes out there, went out to underground change room, showers, and a one-lane bowling alley. And that is literally the only basement of that house. The rest of it is on slab, the wings on both sides, and you can kind of see where it's been cut out and notched. But that
The
was built.
Dodge family, you said?
No, yeah,
Oh.
the Dodge family left money for it.
Oh, I see.
So that house got built, and that was built for nine
I see.
rooms.
Okay.
9 private baths,
Yeah.
common area, and no kitchen. So
Okay.
the men would come over here for
Okay.
food service, and in the winter they'd use the tunnel
Wow.
when the weather was bad.
And companionship.
Of course.
Yeah, who
Talking.
knows?
Yeah.
The stories that could go on.
Right. But that's neat for 40 years too. So obviously it had some meaning in the community and
Well, yeah.
anything that lasts that
Oh, yeah.
long.
I wish I could find and I'm sure somewhere it might exist somewhere, a ledger of all the ladies that had stayed here. I think that would be such a cool thing to have. But
Yeah, some records
Yeah.
of it or anything like that.
Yeah.
I want to take a moment to thank a great local partner of the show, the Mishawaka Historical Museum. I'm especially excited to be participating this summer on something really fun, the Mishawaka History Summer Bucket List. It's a curated list of 75 historical sites and experiences across the city designed to get people out exploring and connecting with Mishawaka's past in a hands-on way. I'll be visiting as many of those locations as I can, creating short, on-the-scene videos to share throughout the summer, so be on the lookout for those. You can pick up a free Mishawaka History Summer Bucket List booklet right at the museum at 121 South Main Street in downtown Mishawaka. It's a great way to guide your own local history adventure. And while you're there, make sure you take some time to explore inside. The museum has recently added over 160 new artifacts and historic images that are now on display, bringing even more of Mishawaka's story to life. Located in downtown Mishawaka, it's an easy, affordable stop. And whether you've lived here your whole life or are just getting to know the area, there's something for you. So get out, explore the bucket list this summer, and start your journey at the Mishawaka Historical Museum. Their website is linked in the show notes. Check it out to learn more.
Now, you've mentioned a few times already about a fire. 1975. There was a fire here. Can you talk to us about what you know about that?
well,
Anything?
it's still an unsolved
Okay.
mystery.
Yep.
And of course, we have, 2 huge firewalls in the house. We had 3 kitchens originally.
Okay.
Always assumed the fire would start in the kitchen.
Yes.
And the firewalls would protect the house.
Uh-huh.
Well, the fire started up in this front corner.
Where we're sitting right now?
Yeah, where we're
But
sitting.
below.
Okay.
But below,
Okay.
and
On the lower
they
level.
say.
Okay.
And of course, when the fire department got here, it was January and it was 10 below zero, and it was just smoldering. There was no real fire. They chopped out all the windows. We're still missing 53 Tiffany stained glass windows in the house.
Wow.
And got oxygen into it. The fire, literally, and all that old timber and wood downstairs, raced across the base, got into the dumbwaiter shaft, and created an inferno going up all the floors. It literally took the roof, all the floors, everything came down. There were no exterior walls. The only thing left was the exterior walls. But when they got that all chopped out, they discovered the hydrants were frozen.
That is amazing.
And then they
Those pictures are unbelievable.
And they had to kind of stand back and watch it burn. And once they got the fire out, they literally, two things. They pumped so much water into the house trying to battle the blaze that it created a causeway unbeknownst to anybody through the tunnel and was flooding the house behind us.
Wow.
So that was just coming up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it froze and they couldn't clean out the basement literally until June. Because you know how you have water and then you have all the debris on top of it, and it's just a block of ice. That's how they stored ice in the summer, was underground, so.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
And they cleaned the house out literally with a crane.
Just scooping.
Yeah. And of course, shortly after the fire, I came home. I was at Purdue at the time.
Okay.
And pulled up. I sat outside and, I always get so teary. I know, emotional. I tell a story.
You're such a softie.
It was, but I mean, it was emotional because I sat out there and just cried and cried and cried. And it was really weird because there was light in the house and you could see light in the house. And it was kind of ethereal because it was still smoldering. There was still, but the only reason there was light in the house was because there was no roof on it and no floors.
What?
And you could just see, like I sat out there and you could just see in, and there was nothing left in the house.
That's wild. That's amazing.
And the sad part about it was Beiger Heritage, which I finally refer to, and I'll probably piss people off when I say this, the Mishawaka Hysterical Society not only saved it from demolition because it was scheduled to be demolished in 73 because of the car dealership next to us. They wanted more used car space.
So 2 years before the fire, it was scheduled to already be demolished.
In pristine condition, though, and with all the original furnishings. Because we have the original National Registry papers.
So only 6 years after the old lady's home closed, they were just going to tear it down.
They did. That's what you did in the 70s.
I know.
We're still missing 2 blocks of beautiful buildings downtown.
And the Mishawaka Historical Society stepped in.
They got it listed on the National Registry, bought it, and then neglected to insure it. So when it went through the fire, it was a real disaster. I mean, it's just real. It's amazing the house is still here.
Yes, because when folks, and I'll share pictures of it, of the fire that you have on your website and everything, and other pictures I've seen, I'm shocked that it was rebuilt.
I know. It's even here. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. Then from what you know from the after the fire, that was in 75.
Right. Well, from 67 to 73, Notre Dame used this as a class study architect project.
Really?
And they detailed everything. All the floors, all the woodwork, all the elevations.
Helpful for later on.
Yes. And we do have the original plans too. Because first, National City Bank had it in trust and had the original plans down there.
Okay.
So we have the original plans and everything's been kind of put back to normal. You know, there's been leeways taken.
Very few leeways.
Yeah.
I mean, we really have
bathrooms.
tried to be very aware of the space.
Yes.
The craziest part of all of this for us is that the house kind of guides us. I mean, I know that sounds really strange, but it has a life.
Sense. Yeah.
All homes of this caliber have a life.
They all have a story.
And,
absolutely.
When you're doing something, if it's not right, we'll know. It's either the project doesn't go right, or like the other day, Ron bought a chandelier and went to hang
tell
it.
that story.
Went to hang it in our office, which is the breakfast room. We thought it was going to be the appropriate thing for there.
Yeah.
And after he hung it,
the link on the chain just opened up and the chandelier went crashing down.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
woo.
Yeah,
things like that.
Was it one of the ladies?
Well, who knows?
Okay, she might not have liked the
I know.
chandelier,
It was more,
so
and I was kind of iffy about it myself. That's the weird part about it, but it was a Murano glass chandelier. It's beautiful, but
wow.
it's,
So the after the fire, it's 1975. You got it in 89. So did it?
Well, they worked on it. No, they started right away.
The
on
Historical Society
Yeah.
of the city did?
Yeah. Well, the city didn't do much to it.
It
I
was
think
the
they gave
public.
them some loans.
The
But
public really wanted it restored.
Okay.
And they struggled. And, unfortunately, the Historic Society really didn't have much of a business sense.
Yes.
They had great ambitions, great hopes, dreams, aspirations, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it doesn't work if you don't have a good business sense as to how you're going to pay for it or where the fund's going to come from. And that was their biggest downfall.
Yeah. It's got to be. It's not cheap.
We saw it was here, and then we saw it years later after I got to the house and was involved when they tried to save the Tivoli Theater.
The theater, yeah. So what? 1989. You're still here. You're still.
Well, I was an electrician by trade.
Okay.
For like 12 years. And, I'm like, thank God I'm in my 70s now because I'm getting 2 electrical pensions, my Social Security, and I'm on Medicare. And I'm like, wow, look at all this money I have now. That stuff adds up. But so I quit my job and moved in here and slept in a fetal position for 6 years, wondering what the hell I had done.
So you in around 89,
and I came into 2 of the hardest businesses. One's hotel motel, and the other restaurant, which they all have like 80% attrition after 3 years. They're usually gone, especially little independent yokels like me.
So when you, from a kid, you've always loved this house. You always had a piece of your heart was in this house, but then you had an opportunity to buy it, right? Is that what happened? Like,
well,
how did it go down?
I kind of...
You just don't end up in a 22,000 square foot house that was being...
Well, I was destined to be here. That's all I can say. Because I was buying houses in the ghetto in South Bend.
Okay.
And I was working with a gentleman named Robert Moore. And I'm sure he's passed since then, but he was doing VA repossessions.
Okay.
And I was like, I was buying houses for
so
10,000,
you already
11,000.
had been real estate, kind of getting in the game a little bit with smaller homes over in South Bend.
And then where this little Gallery East down there is, I bought in 84 and moved in. And all of a sudden I realized I was in the shadow, literally, of my lifelong dream. I hadn't been in the house since the fire.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I had a friend that wanted me to look for gallery space for her. And one day I just walked in here and there was a flea market going on the second floor. And they were occasionally, they were doing like lunch maybe once a week in this, just to kind of raise money. And I just said, well, would you lease me space? And they said, no, we're getting out of that business, but we'll sell you the house.
Wow.
I'm like, you'll sell me the house? Am I like the only one that knows this?
Yeah,
that you would sell me the house?
Right.
Yeah. So, after a year of a negotiation, that was in 88. So after a year and a half, we closed on the deal. And I came in with a 3-year lease option to purchase because I have no finances.
Of course. Yeah.
And I became really good friends with banking people that we were doing a lot of fundraisers for. We've always been kind of community oriented, trying to give back and stuff like that. And what's funny is when it came time to close, I got what they called a community action grant.
Okay.
Which means they don't really expect to get the money back because you're a loser, but it's good for the community.
No,
it's a good try.
Helping the community out.
Yeah,
exactly.
And at that time, of course, late 89, it was not only 12% interest rates, it was an extra 2 points because I had to have an insured, SBA insured mortgage.
Yep.
So I was like at 14% interest.
Wow.
Crazy. And then I discovered that the little hysterical group didn't really want to sell me the house. They wanted me to assume all their debt, which I did.
That was a part of the deal, huh?
And then, go out of
Wow.
business, and they'd get the house back.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, they refused to show up to closing the first time we went to closing. And then during closing, come to find out that they had let their tax-exempt status on the house lapse.
That's crazy.
So when I got to closing, I had an $80,000 tax bill. I had no idea what was going on. And that would have easily shipwrecked me.
Of course. Anybody.
And then, so if you search my name in Beiger Heritage, we made case law because...
Really?
Yeah. I, of course, sued them. We went to the county assessor, and they're like, well, this is just an oversight. Just go ahead and file it. We'll retrograde. It'll all be washed away, and they refused to do it. That's how badly they wanted me out of here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was really bad.
That's even more motivation
to sleep in a fetal position. That's why I said I was in court with them for probably at least 4 years.
This episode of Round the Bend Now and Then is brought to you by In Rug Co.'s Studio and Gift Shop, one of the most unique and creative small businesses that you'll find anywhere in our area. Located right on Mishawaka Avenue, directly across the street from Central Park, In Rug Co. isn't your typical shop. It's part studio, part gallery, and part experience. They specialize in handcrafted, one-of-a-kind rugs and home goods that you simply won't find anywhere else. Whether you're looking to add something bold to your home, find a truly original gift, or just want to browse and be inspired, this is the kind of place that you've got to see for yourself. And now, they've added something extra sweet right next door with Talking Horse ice cream stand. After you check out the shop, walk over and grab some ice cream. It's the perfect pairing for a summer stop along Mishawaka Avenue. If you haven't stopped in yet, make it a point. Head over to In Rug Co. Studio and Gift Shop right across the street from Central Park in Mishawaka, and don't forget to check out Talking Horse ice cream stand while you're there. Learn more at indianarugco.com. Support local, support creativity, and tell them that Round the Bend sent you.
When you first got into this, did you have a vision for the place? Like, what was your vision?
Well, I am living proof that if you can see it, you can do it.
Okay.
You just have to see it. You have to see it every day, and you have to take the path to get to wherever you need to be.
When you first bought it, was this the path, like a bed and breakfast, or like an event space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
actually, we opened up full-time restaurant, or not full-time. We opened up lunch only. We were a huge success.
Okay.
In the first, and then later on, we moved to dinners, and then all of a sudden, it's like my life is consumed with restaurant and the business, and restaurant owners are a different breed. Full-time restaurant. It's hard. Yeah. It's just very hard. And we got out of it. It's just like we couldn't work on the house.
Yep.
We had no time to do any of that.
Yep. And when you took over, it was in bad shape.
Well, I could move 2 sheets of plywood in our office and see downstairs.
So it was in bad shape.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, I was looking into the men's restroom that was down there. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was really rough. I could see outside
unreal
that window casing because there was nothing there, no wood there.
And I'm telling you folks, to our listeners, I'm sitting in this place now, and it literally looks original. It looks like this was all here. It's beautiful.
What's amazing is we're sitting in the East reception room, and that 12-inch wide border around the crown of the room is actually what they called lincrusta, and it's a carved vinyl, and it's the original pattern that I found, still produced by the original company in England.
That made it originally
it originally for the house. Yeah. So
that is insane.
We try to do that stuff. And I became actually kind of good at woodworking. I wouldn't say I'm great.
Okay.
But we have to do pretty much everything ourselves that we
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Because when people come into this house to do work, every time they blink, I see a dollar sign in their
Yeah.
eyes. Ting, ting, ting. So we try to do everything we can ourselves.
It's expensive as it is in a normal house to have
Yeah.
anything fixed up, but let alone in a historic big old mansion with 12-foot ceilings.
Well, if you turn around and look at the bays in the music room, there are 28 bays in there. They're 5 by 5 feet square. There's 9 crowns of molding coming down, which is a lot of molding. And we did that ourselves.
It's beautiful. I mean, just beautiful.
The fun part was when it was finished, because first of all the wood was painted. First the primer, then gold.
Yep.
And then cut. Then everything was remeasured and cut. And then once it was in place, we had a guy on a scaffold, and we pretended that we were at the Sistine Chapel, and we just wheeled him around so he could lay on his back and do the final coat of gold and make sure everything is...
It's that detailed. I mean, it has to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we do it when we can.
What would you say out of the hundreds of projects that you've done, what have been the most nerve-wracking or the most frustrating or the most challenging?
Well, the exterior roofline facade was a huge, very expensive project that, it's the crown. There's 4, if you look up at the roof line from the roof, there's 4 feet of space to where the limestone starts. Behind that is brick.
Okay.
This house these are 18-inch walls. They're wood studs, 2 layers of brick and limestone veneer. So the only thing that was up along the roof line from the fire was that brick, and we had to have, it's small things like 150 corbels made.
What's a corbel?
It's like a bracket that you see, a corner bracket, a decorative in the corner. And I think our first estimate on having those made and painted was like $42,000 just for the corbels alone.
Just for those alone.
Yeah. And they're big. Everything on this house has to be big.
Yep.
It looks small from the street.
Right.
But it's big. And so I did some research, and we found a little Amish wood shop over in Mishawaka.
Nice.
God bless their souls.
Yes.
I went over there and watched, and they had all these little bonneted ladies just
Yeah.
sanding away our corbels and paint. I couldn't take pictures. They wouldn't let me.
They wouldn't let you take pictures.
No, I couldn't do it. I could take pictures after I got them out of their shop and loaded in my van, and I have pictures of that. But God, they were a godsend. They did all the corbels. They did the planks on the house are literally 12-inch by 16 feet by 1-inch dimensional poplar lumber that they handmade for me. They planed it over there, ran it through all their machinery, and they did all the custom moldings on the house too. I had to buy the dies for them, but they made the moldings.
So once you had them and you knew that you could trust them, you went back.
Oh my God.
Yep. That's how it works, isn't it? Once you find somebody who you can trust.
It's very hard to find.
That exactly right.
Trustworthy.
I'm almost afraid to tell you that they did two sets of French doors, all the corbels, all the molding, all the custom trim, and I was thinking it's under $15,000.
Wow. Yeah.
I know. From
quality and from 40 just for the corbels.
The corbels.
Yeah. So we've been very fortunate, lucky.
Yeah.
But here again, it
was out of necessity.
We're acting like business people. You know, we have to think that way.
Yes.
I have to get it in at a price. I can't just sit here and say, yeah, whatever you want to charge me, charge me. And unfortunately, as Ron said, that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, being in design, I had the same issues with clients of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely would tell somebody when I was getting a quote their address. I never told them who the client was. I was always the client. Because as soon as you told them, oh, they're 680 Lakeshore Drive, it went up 5,000. I mean, they just think, well, they've got it. And that's not how you should be approaching things,
No, not at all.
But it's still expensive.
Oh, no. A normal house is expensive.
14 bathrooms.
Golly. And you are legitimately the the handyman, the everything.
Yeah, we do everything. But that's why we keep thinking, we're both in our 70s now, and we keep thinking our opportunity to move on in life will present itself. We can't go out and look, we can't go out and look for a buyer for the house because this is a very the furnishings are going to have to go with the house. The furnishings literally are probably worth more than the house at this point, especially, big houses like this. If we were sitting in Newport, Rhode Island, millions. Downtown Mishawaka, not so much.
Right. Right.
But the area is getting better. It's improving. So
yeah. Was there ever any time over the years where you almost gave up or anything?
Oh yeah, that's happened a lot. And you get disparaged a lot. We had a bride die on the staircase in '94.
I did not know that, really.
Oh my God, my dad read about it it was national news. My mom read about it in Las Vegas.
And it was only a few years in. I mean, it was only 5 years after you bought the place.
It was just such a sad story. And she was a Notre Dame marathon runner, and literally, we didn't host the reception here. They were just spending the night here, and literally her heart exploded because she had an enlarged heart muscle and didn't know it.
Okay.
And her uncle, who was a cardiothoracic surgeon, came over. The reception was right across the street. He was in Boston, top notch. He just said, "With nothing you could do."
Wow.
Just nothing.
That's horrible.
And then years after that, we filmed an episode of The Psychic Detective here.
Okay.
And they did a story on the Osco's triple murders in South Bend, which had nothing to do with us, but they used us because Osco's refused to do anything with it. They wouldn't let them in. The whole crew stayed with us for the filming, and actually the little psychic was supposed to stay with us, and she showed up.
And she literally looked like the gal in Poltergeist.
Little beehive hairdo, smoked like she was like 2 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day. And same voice, everything.
Yeah.
She was supposed to stay here, but obviously
Did she get bad vibes or something? Or?
No, she could. Well, we couldn't let her stay here because of
we don't
her
allow
cigarettes.
smoking.
We've never allowed smoking.
So she wanted to sit here and puff inside. Take your
even
butt
back
outside.
even back in the day before it was banned,
more accepted.
We didn't let it, but she did. They filmed a scene up on the second floor solarium, and on her way up, she just like stopped and she started spinning, and she put her arm out. She goes, "Oh, it's very cold. It's very dark." She knew exactly where the bride had died on the staircase.
Really?
Of course, that
I
raised
have chills right now. Oh my gosh!
It raised every hair on the back of my neck, and she did pick out the murderer of the triple Oscos. They convicted him, and it was funny because they had 6 suspects, and they'd shuffle these pictures. And we have a glass coffee table that's on the 3rd floor. And they actually, literally, camera guy got it filmed up through the coffee table so you could see the photos. And she'd just like pick the same one every time. She did it 3 times, picked the same.
That is crazy.
Guy every time. And then I got people writing me wanting to buy that coffee table. Really? Yeah. Because it was a cool coffee table.
Yeah.
And, it was. They could see, so.
That's neat, man. That's wild. And you said that about the stairs. I got chills.
We have stories for you.
Woo!
Yeah.
Is there any room or space that you guys are more particularly proud of than others?
Oh, well, we just gush about everything.
And you should, by the way.
We live on the 3rd floor. We have a small 5,000 square foot, 2-bedroom,
just
2-bath,
small 5,000 square foot
apartment. 12-foot ceilings again.
We refer to it as Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse for adults.
Cherry up
because it has just about everything.
Everything
from a
heavy.
pool table to slot machines to it's just
We have these 2 Centurions standing here. We have a larger bronze on the 3rd floor of Demetrius wrestling a cobra. I mean, and it's bigger. These are 7 foot.
Yeah, those are large and probably weigh a lot.
Demetrius is 8 feet.
Yeah.
And he's raised up on a 2.5 foot base.
How do you get these giant things up there?
His base is like, 4 foot.
That's crazy.
We have a Chickering square grand piano up there that was 3 numbers off the one Lincoln had in the White House.
Wow.
So 18 something.
That is crazy. How do you get it up there? You just
Well, we had movers, I think, do that one. We carried Demetrius up. We wrapped him in packing blankets, and it took
And
like
then
5
had to
of us.
rope it because it's
3
too
days.
slippery because it's just that slick bronze.
Uh-huh.
And it was 5 of us that had to carry it up the staircases and maneuver it to get it to the top floor.
That's amazing.
Day 1 was getting it to the first floor. Day 2 was getting it to the second floor. Day 3 was going up the back stairway. We have a fire escape back stairwell.
As a matter of fact, the first day that we came to move in, because we didn't start out living here when the two of us, Ron had a house
That's
2
a whole
blocks
story.
away,
Yeah.
and we were staying there, and we decided to come back and work on the house. So the day we were having the movers move us in, they stopped mid
Yep.
and had to get another crew in because they couldn't do the stairs to get all of the stuff because everything that we were bringing in was a little heavy.
Yeah.
Wimps.
That's right.
And now, a brief word from one of our sponsors. Your business relies on technology, but technology needs protection. Our managed IT and cybersecurity services act like your own in-house security team, monitoring and defending your systems 24/7. We just don't fix problems, we prevent them. Local service, real experts, real security. Call MT Box Computers today at 574-277-2775 or head to their website to learn more, www.mtboxcomputers.com. A link to the website is in this episode's show notes. Thank you, MT Box Computers, for all of your support of our content. I'm so very appreciative and glad to spread the good word about your work. And now, back to the episode.
What and you guys have talked several times, and it's on your website too, about how you try to stick to the as original as possible, or the original vibe. Have you found any issues in trying to match like modern stuff with that?
No,
No?
we have
Good.
no problem. And we stay away from ultra modern things on this floor. Not so much on the third floor, but in public view, we try to stay pretty true to form.
Good. Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean
imagine.
the top floor where we
It's
live has
yours.
some contemporary pieces. I mean, some are weirder than others, but
And of course, in the men's restroom downstairs, we have Danish teardropped urinals, waterless urinals.
Really?
So that's a little bit of a novelty. But that kind of seems
we
to
thought
fit.
was as not contemporary as we can go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it sure is just beautiful in here for sure. You host a bed and breakfast here, right?
Oh yeah.
You want to talk to us about it?
Well, I'm still back in the Stone Age. We don't do online reservations.
Okay.
I want to talk to everybody that's staying here. I want to, we've had nefarious people try to get into the house, especially now that there's Airbnbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People think if they take all 6 rooms, they get the whole house. Well, that's not the case.
Okay.
You get the 6 rooms.
Yeah.
And we probably have an event going on down here, so you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
And we only take adults on the second floor. We don't take children. We have made exceptions for people we really, really love. But they all have private baths.
Okay.
They're always, they're pretty individual. I do a fabulous breakfast in the morning.
Okay.
And oddly enough, I keep learning new tricks, and people are amazed at the breakfast. And I'm like, well, I've had 37 years of practice. If I can't do it now, I'll never.
Yeah, you have a problem if you can't do it after 37 years.
I know. Yeah, I had somebody just the other day say that he had the best eggs he's ever had in his life, and his wife gave him the dagger look of, what the are you talking about?
I think the divorce papers are being served.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because of Ron's eggs. And you mentioned you also do events here, right?
Oh yeah.
What type of events? What can
we do? Dennis handles events, so I'll just let him
go
about
for it.
We do weddings, and we do, of course, the normal stuff.
Okay.
We do some unusual things occasionally. We have a luncheon coming up here, and it's just 12 people, but it will be an extremely high-end luncheon,
Yes.
and it is because this is their wedding reception.
Wow.
And, you know, we
And that's tomorrow.
we
Wow.
I know.
we like
Wednesday.
to do events that, you know, one, really kind of show off the house as well.
Absolutely.
You know, we're not into, you know, you get the place for 12 hours and you're going to come in at, you know, 9 o'clock in the
Mhm.
morning and haul all sorts of stuff in here. And
Yep.
we just don't work that way.
Right.
As I told somebody today, I don't understand what you mean by you need hours ahead of time to do decor.
Yes.
If you haven't looked at the pictures,
That's the decor.
Yeah.
the only thing you need to bring is maybe
You.
some centerpieces
Uh-huh.
or something of that nature. If you want to bring in a whole bunch of decor,
Yeah.
you need to
Go to a banquet hall.
Or
Or
you need to go to
a-
more of a banquet
Yeah.
hall. You know?
And we provide the DJ. We have like all our sound system is kind of built in,
Yeah.
concealed.
Uh-huh.
So you just don't, you know, it's all in-house contained. So we can be a one-stop shop
Yeah.
for somebody
Okay.
that really, we've cut our numbers back considerably. We could actually seat 150 people on the first floor.
Okay.
Now we go like to 70.
Got it.
Just
Got it.
because easier on the house,
Yes.
easier on us.
Yes.
And the problem with a lot of wedding receptions is you get the core group that really loves the house and want to be here, and then you get the other fringe group that just wants to party because it's a
Mhm.
wedding and that's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so we've cut out the fringe group and we just have the core group that
Who
loves
wants
the house.
who loves the
Yeah.
house and wants to be here for
Yeah.
sure.
You know, it is one-stop shopping. Most showers that we do, they just send me the invitation and we create everything
Everything
around
else.
it. So
Okay.
as one of our clients told us, and she really said this in all sincerity.
Uh-huh.
She's done many events. Never has she gone to a place where she could just tell someone what she likes
Yep.
and what she wants and walk in and be overwhelmed with the accuracy of.
Because it's
Yep.
usually above and beyond what they expected. That's what we try to
That's
do.
great. That's
we
awesome.
try
That's
to
how
make every event better
Yes.
than the last
As we try
one.
to tell people, don't you want to just come to the party?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You're paying for
Yes.
it. Why do you
Yes.
think that you have to work it?
Yes.
You know, you don't have to come here
Yep.
to set the place up. You don't have to do cleanup.
Mhm.
You don't, you know, if you just provide us with the information, we will get it done.
And that is an experience that sadly is all too missing anymore is that sort of personal one-on-one attention,
Well,
especially in an original spot like this.
Well, you know, we also do that for, you know, a reason. Let's be honest, you know.
Mhm.
I remember in the early days when we didn't have our own in-house DJ, and that's why we ended up doing it, is that DJs would come in and, you know, I'm sorry, they sometimes are like a bull in a china shop.
Mhm.
And they want to set up and they want to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
you
And
know?
we don't allow signage like that.
And we don't want those big
Uh-huh.
freestanding speakers everywhere.
You know,
No.
I think after one of our events, and I looked at the photos that the bride showed
Uh-huh.
me, and I kept seeing the bride and groom, and it was Johnny Spins.
Mhm.
And I've just thought, this is a great
Tacky.
photo,
It's tacky.
but there was this DJ behind you.
Mhm.
And so we finally got to where we decided to just build everything. And so the DJ is actually behind by the bar and is not seen by anybody. His job is just to play music, or
Uh-huh.
her job. They should get a sense of vibe that they get from the people, and they
Yep.
should be able to produce music for them.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
And we're also one of the only places you can do a poolside wedding.
There's a pool here?
Yeah.
Really?
I put that in for my 50th birthday present to myself, and nobody knew it because the house is so big. It is just cornered
Nice.
in the back.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it is a lush spot.
Yeah.
It surprisingly, when you do an afternoon ceremony at 5:30 or so, it's just quiet.
Yes.
It's just, you're in another world, you know. And you know, sometimes the reality is we're not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
try to be really honest with people.
course.
You know, once they tell me what their vision is,
Mhm.
I don't think I can do that.
Yep.
I would rather be honest than to try to do something that I really couldn't do.
this doesn't do any good for people in a podcast unless
Yeah,
you
my
post a
jaw's
picture
dropped now,
with it.
but yeah, Ron's showing me the picture of that pool. That's beautiful. The space out there, yes.
Yeah. I went to Purdue for landscape architecture, so I have to have something to show for that part of my life too.
I went to IU, so that's all right though.
That's
Purdue's
okay.
done
IU,
right.
yeah. IU's good this year.
No, that's beautiful though, and I had no clue. And I've jogged and walked and been around this whole area.
Yeah, you just don't know it's there. The house is so big, it completely conceals it.
Wow. All right, we'll wrap it up here, gentlemen. This has been great. Seriously, my listeners will definitely, or our listeners will definitely learn about this spot and look at it differently next time they drive past.
Well, there you
and that's
go.
what I want our folks to do, is that there's a story behind everything, every building, every public works project, there's stories behind it all. It's way more than just brick and mortar.
And you only got a very short period of our
of
story. We could go
course.
on for another 2 hours.
Of
Like I said,
course.
we're like putting the push button on the back of our
Of course
head.
you can. And you don't spend 47 years or whatever it is.
37.
37
Just
years.
not push it.
Yeah. You were young when you got it.
Yeah, it's 34.
That is young
To do this.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Crazy
Wow.
ass.
Well, you had that's good that you're a crazy ass though.
Yeah.
Because
And now I'm cooking. I do all the food
uh-huh.
for all the events.
That's neat. That's
is.
cool. Hey, why do you think folks are drawn to places like this?
For us,
It's just you two?
we're here.
You know,
For
sometimes
every event.
Uh-huh.
We do have Bert and Ernie, our wild 20-pound crotch rockets
Okay.
that live on the third floor with us. But it's really for us. We're here for every event.
Yeah.
We would never host an event without being here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That personal touch.
Yeah.
Well, people. Okay, so I do events outside of here for different organizations. I go to certain places because, again, it's the personality
Absolutely.
of the person that I'm going to be dealing with, and I know what I can get out of them. I know what they can provide,
Mhm.
and I know what then I have to supplement.
Mhm.
Yep. And I think that's really, for good advice for anybody who's doing an event.
Mhm.
You need to go someplace where you're comfortable with the person that you're dealing with. And in most cases, especially with us, you're only dealing with one person for everything.
Yeah, that makes it easier.
And it makes it so much easier for the client. So
Right.
that way they could actually feel like they could walk in and it
Yeah.
really is going to capture what they were after.
That's
you know?
awesome.
It's hard when you've got, here's the florist coming from this place,
Mhm.
and here's the DJ from here, and here's the caterer from
Mhm.
there. There's all different kinds of personalities, and Ron and I have done events like that
Right.
for friends of ours.
Yep.
The great thing about it is because of our nature
Mhm.
and how we operate,
Mhm.
it's much easier for us to take those people and make them gel and create the right event.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
It's not easy.
it's not easy.
No.
And, everybody thinks they're great at
Mhm.
entertaining. And I will say some are.
Mhm.
But for the most part, there's something that they forget. It's the timing. It's
Right.
did I inform everybody of changes? Did I alert for special needs? It takes an art form.
And the more people involved, the harder it is. And here it's you guys, you gentlemen.
Yeah.
And with personal touch. And definitely. All right. Well, hey, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. It's been great.
Thank you. For
Have a
sure.
great afternoon.
All right. Take care.
Thank you once again for listening to another episode of Round the Bend Now and Then. An extra special thanks to Ron and Dennis for your time sharing a bit about the mansion. And more importantly, thank you for all the blood, sweat, and tears that you have put into restoring and maintaining this beautiful piece of Mishawaka history. Join us again next time as we learn more about South Bend and Mishawaka's now and then.